I have a buddy who he says every family should have at least one piece of original artwork.
I love that.
Why do you think that's important?
I think it'll help people receive beauty and learn how to like begin that at home, to begin to look at real art. And whether it's sacred art or even a different type of genre art, you're learning how to view beauty, and that's a great. You need that.
But why not just a really beautiful print?
You know that this is hard to put in words, but it's funny because I'll bring prints sometimes because if an original sells, I can no longer take it with me, and you can get some decent prints. I use G clay, which is a type of ink that is really close to the original, and they do a decent job. And if that's all you can afford, there's a good there. But when you experience an original, you know the difference right away. I don't know if I can put it in the words.
Here, here's my example.
Do you have the words?
So,
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
I don't know. So they've the Cathedral of St. Paul has an exact laser replica of the Pietà.
Uh-huh.
And it's made out of, so they ground down marble dust and then compacted it all. It's like, it's like laser guided,
Yeah.
exact perfect replica of the Pietà. Mm-hmm. And I can go up and I can stand like, as close as we are, I can go right up to it. Unlike the Pietà where you're, 20 feet behind, 20 feet away. And I was so excited to go see it after I got back from. I was like, oh, I can go see that one, and it just was, like part of it. It's like it has no soul.
I was just gonna say that. I do think the Lord graces the original very particularly when it comes to sacred art.
Yeah, it's
and
like
the other genres.
Michelangelo
as
didn't make this. A computer made this. A laser made this.
Well, and we might go down the route of AI and
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about AI? Yeah,
I think it could serve to help in things, admin work and things like that. I'm really grateful for some of its help, but as far as the arts go, I don't think it really belongs there. Not much anyways. Maybe to help like compose an idea just for like sketching and then get to the real stuff with real humans.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think, we're losing the human element of everything. But yeah, so it's like if it's to know that no, this person made this thing for me, I mean, and this is why moms love their kids. Like, this is why I have on my own refrigerator, little drawings that kids from the school have made me. It's like, because there's something.
This person's hands and hours, like
it's like, that's
created that.
Precious.
Yeah.
There's love in there. There's heart in there. There's, there's something. It's human. It's human. It's not a copy. It's not a replica. It's not plaster. It's not Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
No offense.
Right. We have a
Chinese.
gift with being able to create prints today. But yeah, if you have the ability or even just want to save up, an original is 10 times better. I agree. The soul is a good word to use. You're experiencing the soul of the artist, and then the depth of what they're sharing just translates even more fully than a print can. It's just facts. I don't want to discourage people from getting prints too, but there is something even more about an original.
Yeah.
Just to see the strokes up close, to see for painting purposes. But marble, you're like, yeah, that's an exact replica, but it's not the exact marble that was used.
Yeah.
It's not.
No. And I think you're right. Like, I've heard this even from the philosophy of art. I don't know if you studied the philosophy of art or not. I think even Aristotle talks about it, but material matters. Something made out of marble versus something made out of plastic.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Well, even if it's the exact same thing, and even if you took a hunk of plastic and chiseled it or something, it's like, it's still plastic. It's not.
It doesn't have the same value.
No.
That's what it comes down to. The value, it's cheaply made, mass produced. It's not. You can't speak about the divinity with that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. People try.
I wonder if it's even something. I mean, even like. Because art is imitation, right? Art is trying to portray something human in a different way, right? Okay. And so it has to have individuality of a human, so that this is a singular piece of art, just as you're a singular human being and I'm a singular human being. And then there's something about that. Like, this does not exist in anybody else's living room, just as you don't exist anywhere else except,
that is really a cool thing to think about too.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only original of whatever you have that exists.
Right.
Which gives it a lot more value. But also, thinking the humanness of it, there's a beauty of some of the imperfections that might happen. Like, I don't always get everything exactly right. And I mean, Michelangelo is really close to perfect, right? But the human will always have some error, maybe very small, that you may not even recognize. But there's a goodness there where it shows the soul, the realness of it. Whereas like AI, it's getting closer and closer to what seems to be perfect, but it's almost creepy because it's lacking that soul. So to see, like, I personally love when I see artists painting and you can see like what might be perceived as messed up, but it's like, no, there's like stories behind it. And what took them, like, how did they get to that place? How many layers, but even their own story behind just arriving at the finished artwork. It tells us a story.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Now, I'm not saying I want everybody to go out and get original artwork instead of sending their kids to the school or tithing or something like that. But I mean, I think it's like one of those things to, I don't know, maybe it's one of those, like, should you go on a really exotic vacation or buy a piece of art? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the.
Here's the other thing with original art, like, you're going to be able to pass that down for generations.
Right. Yeah.
Prints, because that they're lesser value, they might get thrown out.
Yeah.
Likely will just decay faster. Like, it's reality. But an original work, you're not going to get rid of because the value of it, and it's going to pass down and pass down and pass down. So there's a beauty to that. You're leaving like a legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, and even here in like the church, and I find stuff that's, years and years old. And some of it's, the 100-year-old equivalent of kitsch. They had a version of kitsch back then too. By the way, Saint Jose Maria Escriva has some funny, he didn't like kitsch either. And he would say it's like, they're like candy coated sugar Sacred Heart or something, But so you find stuff like it's old, but it's not original. It's still But then you find stuff like, ooh, I think that's original, and even though it's kind of tattered and torn, we want to put that somewhere,
Yes, right.
There's something, like I found, like I have some nicer banners than these ones, but it's like, wow, real people like made those, and some of them are over 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago,